You ever try to cry in peace and your dog is like, ma'am, not on my watch? Or maybe your cat's been giving you the side eye every time you skip their grooming, but haven't brushed your own hair in 3 days. If you're a caregiver, chances are your pet has been your therapist, your accountability buddy, and your comic relief, all rolled into one. Today, we're talking about the fur covered emotional support squad that's been quietly holding it down while you hold everyone else up. If that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around. Welcome to the Caregivers Lounge, where we dive into the laughter, love, and lessons of caregiving. Because let's be real, this journey is unpredictable. I'm Shaunté Newby, your host, and whether you're caring for aging parents, deep in the caregiving trenches, just starting out, or simply curious about this world, you've found the right place. Here, we share stories, swap insights, and remind each other that no one has to do this alone. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's unwind together. Welcome back. Okay, real talk. My dog knows when I'm about to cry. I don't know how he knows. I don't know why he knows, but at the moment I start getting emotional, he suddenly gets glued to my side like a furry emotional support blanket. And here's the twist, friends. Anyone who's known me before you've seen me on this would know that I was not an animal person. I was terrified of dogs, scared of them. In fact, I didn't even get the whole pet love thing. People would lose their pets, and I would be like, why are they so emotional about it? Like, I didn't get it. And then one day, I got offered the opportunity to have a puppy, to get a puppy. And originally, I was like, no, I don't want one. And my friend, she was very persistent. She's like, well, he won't get that big, and you need a dog. You're such a nice person. Like, she really said all of that. And I still brushed it off. No, I don't want a dog. And then I told my family about it. Big mistake. I said, hey, our friend wants to give us a free dog, a free puppy just born. And they were so excited. And I said, I told her no. Why did you tell her no? They were all over me. And so eventually, my friend said, well, you need to just come over and see the puppies, and maybe that'll change your mind. So I said, okay, I'll consider it. So I did go see the puppies. And when she let them out of the cage, they were so cute. They all scattered and ran every direction except for one of them, my puppy, Bentley. And he ran directly toward me. And when she saw that he ran toward me, she said, look, he picked you. And I was still in denial. No, he didn't. And she said, yes, he did. So I would go visit, and eventually I would build up to touching the dog and touching the puppy and then eventually holding him. And something clicked when I held him and I took a selfie. And I don't know. And we never looked back. So this was about over 6 years ago. So that's why this episode is so special, because my whole perspective has changed with having him and spending time with him. And yeah, so I really had to apologize to some people years ago. I was so insensitive when they lost their pets, and I don't even want to think about when my time comes to have to deal with that. So we're going to talk about that later. So here's the deal. He didn't just win me over. He cracked open a part of me that I didn't know need healing. And I've talked to a few people about this. He gave me motivation, and I was in an interesting time period when he came along, and I didn't know I needed him until I had him for a while. So if you're a caregiver, you know that some days feels like a marathon with no water stations. And then your pet hops into your lap. If they're a cat, they purr like a little tiny motorboat. And for 5 whole minutes, you breathe. Today, we're talking about the unsung heroes of caregiving, our pets. The ones who don't judge, they don't interrupt. Well, they kind of interrupt. And somehow they know when you need a nuzzle more than a nap. So let's get into it. Let's talk about that emotional backbone you didn't know you had. Pets offer nonverbal emotional support. They don't need you to explain your exhaustion. They don't need you to explain why you feel the way that you do. Studies show that pets can reduce cortisol and increase oxytocin. They literally help you chill out. I know that it makes sense for me because I know when I rub him, pet on him, it does calm me down a little bit. So for the caregivers who feel isolated, pets provide companionship without expectations. Bentley doesn't even care if I haven't taken a shower in over 24 hours. TMI, I know. He just wants to sit next to me while I mope or while I'm vegging out and watching a TV show or while I'm just down and out. It doesn't matter. He just wants to be next to me when I'm going through what I'm going through. He's actually next to me snoring right now. I'm going to show you a picture of him. If you're on YouTube, you will see a picture of him or a video of him and what he looks like while I'm recording. He's literally laying next to me and he knows things like, let's go to work. And he knows to be quiet. I just got to work on the snoring. All right. So let's talk about that thing called double duty. I know I felt that and actually verbalized that in a couple conversations. It's when you're caring for everyone, including the dog. The reality of dual caregiving, managing medications for your parents or your loved one, and managing medications for your pet. That's a thing. I know mine is on a preventative, flea and tick preventative, and he actually even takes meloxicam or the dog version of it. It's as needed, but still, there's medications that have to be administered. What about that guilty feeling you have when you're not doing enough for either? Now, I get that feeling every once in a while when I'm irritated and I don't feel like walking him. And I'll say to myself, well, look at this. You have access to a restroom all day. And he only has access when you take him out, and he does not want to do anything in the house. Like it would just hurt his soul if he disappoints me and does something in the house. But then there's that guilty feeling I have of I'm being so hard. I do take him out 3 times a day, but there's that feeling of maybe I'm not doing enough. And then I definitely feel bad when it's time to leave him. He puts his little head in the window and I just try to drive and look away. Like I just put up the little barrier on my side. So, one thing to consider is pet care could be considered as self care. There could be some rituals that you have, that quality time. I know when we lay down, he likes to spoon, he likes to be the little spoon. Or just walking him in the morning when it's peaceful and quiet. I've learned to make that time meaningful and special. I may be listening to different things while we're walking or just taking in the outdoors and talking to God, actually, just praying and talking and walking. So there's just certain rituals that I have while I am caring for my pet and caring for myself. So it ends up being like a twofer. I know walking the dog for some can be their alone time, and some folks probably used to resent it. Now you should just probably protect it like it's sacred. So we also know that our pets seem like they want to do anything to make us laugh or make us smile, or at least I know mine does. And maybe your cats or other pets that you have that are entertaining do that too. But specifically, I know Bentley, he likes to make me laugh. And if he notices something will make me laugh, he will keep doing it over and over and over again. And he can detect when I'm getting overwhelmed. And what's interesting is it's when it's multiple people in the house, so in my family, he goes where he's needed actually. So if someone is experiencing something emotional, he may leave my side just to go tend to them. So they really can pick up on things. So I remember there was a time that Bentley would bark as soon as I would start crying about something. Okay, so I'll confess, I'll tell you what I was doing. I made the mistake of watching social media videos about people and their pets. And I stumbled across the ones where people were sharing the final moments with their pets. Now, remember, I was the one that was insensitive about this. And now, oh, it's flooding from my eyes, crying. And he's looking at me like, what is wrong? And he just wants to fix it and solve it. So he was literally like my little emotional alarm clock because he's barking and trying to get to me, and I'm trying to hold him back. And he's just trying to help me out. So, yeah. But If you have some stories to share about the interaction of you and your pets, definitely send it my way. Send in your pet moments, funny, sweet, or surprising. So, finally, pets don't seem to care if you're cranky, tired, or forgetful. They probably would care a little bit if you're cranky, because if you're kind of mean to them, they look so disappointed. And at least I know when I'm not in the mood to be bothered and I try to shun him away, I can see it in his face. And then I'm like, oh, just come back. But your pets offer unconditional presence, which caregivers may rarely get. So I want to encourage you to recognize your pets as part of your support system. You might feel like you're doing it all alone, but if there's a little tail wagging next to you, you're actually not. To every caregiver out there who's ever cried into their dog's fur, whispered frustrations to their cat, or found peace in the quiet hum of a fish tank, you're not alone. Your pet sees you, they love you, and maybe, just maybe, they're helping you heal in ways you didn't expect. I truly believe that. So until next time, take care of yourself and give your furry friend an extra treat. They've earned it, and so have you. Thanks for listening. Drop a comment or send a message to caregiverslounge@icloud.com.